Welcome to Sleep and Deep Lucid Dreaming, the podcast that explores your inner universe and invites you to fall in love with sleep. I'm Dr. Clare Johnson, and I'll help you tap into your own genius and discover the mysteries of sleep and lucid dreams. Hi, welcome everybody. I'm so delighted to be talking today with Dr. Gayle Delaney, an author and dream pioneer who was creating groundbreaking dream work techniques before I was even a twinkle in my parents' eyes. And Gayle became an iconoclast who led a movement away from traditional dream therapies into a more exciting arena. And she's a renowned dream psychologist who has written many books, including Living Your Dreams and Sexual Dreams. And in 1971, she developed the dream interview method. This is a secular, guru-free method to help people understand their dreams. And Gayle is also the co-founder of the International Association for the Study of Dreams. And in fact, we first met when I was president of the organization. So it was a great honor for me to meet one of the people who actually founded this wonderful association. And I recently had a dream with Gayle. I was at her house, which was a big, beautiful, light, spacious house. And I was watching the television, and Gayle was being interviewed on TV. And as I watched, she burst into song, and it was a beautiful sound. And then in the dream, the real Gayle came up behind me, and I said, "Wow, Gayle, you have such a powerful voice." So for me, Gayle is somebody with a powerful voice who is behind me in a supportive way. I've always sensed that. She was very kind to read through the manuscripts of a couple of my books and to endorse them in a very warm and enthusiastic way. So I loved feeling that supportive energy from someone who really is a pioneer in the field of dream studies. So I'm delighted to welcome you, Dr. Gayle Delaney.
Hello, Claire. Thank you for having me. I've loved reading your books. And as you know, I don't give an endorsement unless I have the time to read through the whole book. So I really now know you so much better, but you're not here. You're in Stuttgart and I'm in Florida right now. And I would just love to know you and have you as a dream buddy.
Yeah, that's lovely. And it's been great talking to you recently, having conversations, getting to know each other better. And I think what I'd love to talk to you about first is, since you were one of the founders of the International Association for the Study of Dreams, could you share what inspired you to set up this organization 4 decades ago and what your hopes were for it? Because just to help listeners to understand how it was in those times, because it was all very different than it is today with dream work and how accepted they are in society.
Well, it was the major difference was back in the 80s. We had Freudians and we had Jungians. And then we had the unlicensed, unwashed masses who, like to do dreams and would just do whatever. And we had some existentialists, but they were mostly in Europe. And we had these rigid schools. And my interest, I got a call from a fellow named Stefan Williams, who said, we ought to do an organization on dreams. And I said, I think you're so right. We have to do it with forums and things like this. But I don't want anything to do with it because I don't want to do organizations. People get very weird. And he said, that's fine. All you have to do is invite people to give talks because you know so many people in the field. And I said, okay, be happy to do that. Then we got together 4 people. So what I wanted to do, my goal was to embarrass the Jungians into reading the Freudians, to embarrass them to do it. Because wherever I went to conferences, nobody had read outside of a very tiny bubble. Some bubbles were more rigid than others. And so that was my goal, and to have a place where people who weren't professionals come and not get brainwashed
Mm-hmm.
by a particular leader or a specialist. And that takes education, it takes reading around. And that was my goal. That's what I was interested in. And so eventually that happened. And much more talented people than I took over the reins by about 1985 or 6, who liked doing this. And it was great. And so I was very glad for that. And I had done a year of Jungian analysis in New York City, north of Princeton, went then for about a year. And I found that it was more like it wasn't a psychological school of training. It was a religious indoctrination program. How close you came to Jung or your analyst was, did he ever meet Jung? Did he touch the hem of the Holy One? And their ideas about women and about men would make you cry. But just read some of their books. They'll tell you this, well, this dream is about this female image, and this is that about male image. And I I was a young, I was born in 49, so 68, coming of age. No, that's not okay with me. Let the dreamer tell you what is. So the organization then went on. I started the Dream Center with my partner, Loma Flowers, for training people in San Francisco, a psychiatrist, most brilliant person my husband or I have ever met. She's just so amazing. And it was a joyous period of my life where we were working together all the time.
So you decided, okay, I have to change something. I want to give the power back to the dreamer. Is that right? You're wanting to empower dreamers to actually interpret or understand their own dreams.
I felt I was bearing a truth about dreams.
Mm.
You should ask the dreamer. So the dreamer told me her dream. The cat was sitting on a windowsill, and it was a black cat. It came into her room, ran around, raised a ruckus, and left. So I, being the interviewer from another planet, because I only want to know what she thinks, I say, so what are cats like? Pretend I've never seen one or heard of them before. And so cats are distant and aloof and just not very touchy-feely. And what was the one in your dream like? And she said, well, my cat was black and sleek and gorgeous and just, like other cats, nothing they want to say is they love you when they want to, leave you when they want to. Okay. Now I just feed back that description to the dreamer. I recapitulate it and I say, so is there anything in your life, anyone or any part of yourself that's like a black, sleek cat that's aloof, distant, loves you when it wants to, leaves you when it wants to? And she said, oh, it's my boyfriend.
Her boyfriend.
Okay, so he's on your windowsill. He comes into what room? That's my bedroom. He raises a ruckus. And how does that feel? Oh, it's very exciting. And he leaves. And how does that feel? I was in tears.
Mm.
Right. Now, think of all the things we haven't said to her. We haven't lectured her about all my erudition. I've read the collected works of Jung, 26 volumes. I've read a lot of mythology because Jung said you had to do that. Didn't let any of that get between her and me.
Mm-hmm.
She's told me your dream. And so I said, well, think about it and raise your hand again if something comes to you. And she said, Gayle, I realized that almost every man I've ever been close to has been a cat. What I need is a dog, friendly, loving, faithful, wants to be with me. Okay, end of dream. So what I was trying to do there was not get in her way, because what if we'd lectured her about the female principle? She would have been nice and, oh, that's nice. Oh, what's that? But it means, no, this was about the fact that she picks men who are cats. And for her, cats are not the kind of man she wants. She wants one who's like a faithful, loving pooch.
Mhm.
You see, I never felt out of place. I said, just listen to this. You can do all of your add-ons later. But first find out what the dream's about. Don't go into a long song and dance about her mother. We could all get to the part of our mother that's like a cat. or she's like a something else. And so I've wanted people to stop, put all your theories aside, all your intuitions. I think intuitions are an enormous cloak, dark cloak. I'm calling all this my intuition, but indeed, what it is all my projections. Oh, was that like your brother? Was that like your mother? Or, what is true about cats is the following thing. No. So that's what I want to do all my life. That and dream incubation, which is going to sleep and suggesting to yourself you have a dream on a particular topic. That's my whole shtick. I just love that because it's very hard for people to do. It looks so simple. Most people say, oh, I know, I do that too. I always want to find out what the dreamer means. And I never ask that question, by the way. I never, ever once say, what do you think this dream means? Unless we've done a whole interview first and we have the raw material and the data. But I never, because then the dreamer will go to, well, I don't know what it means. And maybe it means a Freud or a Jung thing or something else thing, that Indian medicine cat or something. So I never asked that question, but I asked to describe. I recapitulate. I show back what you just said. And then I try to help you make a bridge to waking life. Is there anything? It might be a part of yourself. It might be someone in your life. It might be something in your life that's like this black sleep cat. And so I never get tired of it. I never get tired in 50 years of doing dream work because I never know which way it's going to go.
Right, exactly. Yes. It's a very fun method as well, I think. It's something that keeps the dream alive. So it's not just talking about it as symbols. It's like, this is how I relate to this. This is how I feel, says the dreamer. This is what it makes me think of. And yeah, I like that. So this is your pioneering dream interview method then. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. And so, do you know, could you describe how people in your field of dream studies reacted when you came up with your method? Were they dismissive or did they embrace it?
Well, I was on every TV show you've ever seen in America right away. Because it works on TV. I can ask a few brief questions and the dreamer's eyes go like this, right? And I'm just never bored. That's obvious. So then people were very jealous. That's actually what happened. I got a lot of envy pain.
Right.
And all thought I was fabulously wealthy from doing TV and radio and that sort of thing. And they just didn't know the industries. You don't get paid much of anything, hardly enough to cover your expenses to get there. Then I got people who would say, mostly psychiatrists, oh, Gayle, TV. That's just so low class. They didn't use the word low class, but they danced around it. And I said, if you write a book that you care about, you really sort of silly not to be on TV. Now it's podcasts. Because why hide it? When people don't know psychically where you are and where to find your book. So I had to deal with that kind of down the nose look from the psychiatrist. PhD, not an MD. And so there was that. But most people were stunned and just, trouble is most of them didn't understand it. They also said, well, yeah, I want to find out what it means to the dreamer. You don't find out unless you ask non-leading questions. And I have a sheet of questions. It's called the cue card. You need a cue card to see what to do next.
Yeah.
And so I have that. It's on my website, which is right now down, but it'll be up again.
What is your website? Would you like to say it while we mention it?
The title right now is Your Sleeping Genius. There are two G's together. Your Sleeping Genius.
Okay.
And I'm changing it to dreamsyoursleepinggenius.com.
Oh.
So one of those two versions.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So people could go to your website and they could get these cue cards and then they could, with a partner, enjoy the dream interview method.
You can do it totally by yourself. 90% of us are working alone. Maybe 99% of us are working alone.
Right.
But it's so much more fun with a dream partner And do you have people get into dream partnerships? Do you ever encourage that?
Oh, yes, absolutely. On my retreats, I always assign lucidity partners to help them to inspire each other and become more enthusiastic, check, just to get to know someone as well. I think it's beautiful to explore a dream together. It really brings you close. So meaningful.
It's so, and it's such an immediate zooming into one part of the dreamer's life, and the dreamer has to let you in, right? And so defenses go way down.
Yeah. That's true. Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you for sharing your dream interview method. That's great. And at the end, I'll ask you to sort of just break it down into simple steps for us. But I just wanted to ask you for now, how lucid dreaming was viewed 50 years ago. How was all of that? Because many of our listeners will be lucid dreamers or very interested in lucid dreams. And of course, these days, lucid dreaming has boomed and it's all over the place and it's a real hot topic. But I wonder, what was it like 50 years ago?
People didn't believe it happened.
Ah.
And I wrote a book in 77. I finished my book and it got published in 79, 80, right? And people thought, oh, now they're saying you can be awake in your dreams. But Stephen LaBerge was making a lot of waves. And the trouble is he had never done any therapy, at least not up until that time. And he was telling people, look, if you're in a bad spot in a dream, if there's somebody running after you, just fly away or turn around and kill him, but put an end to that unpleasant experience. And go make love to, now that you know you're awake, you can do anything. Go make love to your favorite movie star, make love to a flower, do whatever. And I called Stephen, at least every few months. And we were on some shows together, TV shows. And I said, lucid dreaming is most useful when you use it to discover things, not to run away from things. And instead of flying away or showing off how good a flyer person you are, you say, what do you want? Why are you doing this? And I think I had that in my first book. Turn and face it. A dog was chewing my arm. And I said, why are you doing this? And he said, well, as long as you run, I have to do it. Okay. And those are I was considered pretty odd for that. An incubation, people didn't think it was possible. TV viewers, the second year around when I came, doing lots of book tours and then non-book tours, the interviewers said, well, I tried it and it works. And so the word got out.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting that you had to really sort of bring that whole idea in about what's the most, therapeutic thing to do in a lucid dream rather than just escape from anything going on. Like,
he was argumentative. I had to say, no, don't do that. Try this. And they didn't see why. They didn't see why you have to, that you're turning the spigot off to your unconscious that has lots of juice for you. And you can use your lucidity, I think, to expand it greatly, don't you? Can't you tell me about that?
Absolutely, yes. And I've done a lot of work on this, as you know, with The Art of Transforming Nightmares, one of my books, which goes into what happens when we explore the shadow aspects of ourselves that arise in dreams. And for sure, it's really absolutely astonishing what happens sometimes when we just calmly ask the scary element or the unpleasant element in our dream, why are you here? Do you have a message for me? And we have the courage to actually look upon that which is fearful for us. One lady in her lucid dream, she saw this guy in the corner and he was really all scrunched up and he was very sad and in tatters and he was very scary for her. But she became lucid and she knew, okay, I should go and look on this guy's face. I can't see his face. I need to look. And so she walked over and she looked upon his face. And in fact, all that she saw there was this beautiful light. There was this amazing light there. And she was so astonished and amazed. And she understood that sometimes we have these fears and they remain fears for us if we don't look at them, if we don't have the courage to face them. But when we do, they can transform into something so pure and powerful that it can really change us from the inside out. So I think there's much work that can be done simply during the lucid dream to transform our fears and to give us that courage also in waking life, because it does then continue over into waking life, right? It's not just...
Yes. Doesn't it change your attitude toward waking life and the things you want to move away from, not think about, not do?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I think that's just tremendous.
It really is. You're listening to Sleep and Deep Lucid Dreaming podcast with Dr. Clare Johnson. On my website, you can sign up for a free guided meditation for lucid dreaming and blissful sleep, as well as video classes with tips for deep sleep and how to have more lucid dreams. Visit deepluciddreaming.com.
How would it work with your dreamers who are focusing on lucidity? I have the interview process, so having two people makes it really great. How would it work for them? I have my clients. I even try not to see individuals. Set it up with a dream partner. You can do it by phone or by Zoom, or maybe if you work together, that'd be great. Work is treatment. To meet with each other for 1 hour a week. 1 week, it's one partner's term to be the interviewer, and 1 week, it's the other's. And they develop, as you can imagine, really grand friendships.
Yeah.
And someone to be interactive with.
Exactly. And it just becomes like, it gives you a different perspective on your dream. It helps you to talk about your dreams. And sometimes all we need really is to be heard when we're sharing a dream, to have someone who's willing to listen openly without judging, without jumping in and trying to push their own interpretation onto our dream. So I think it can be very empowering to work with somebody else, and also it develops this deep friendship, as you say. It goes really deep because we're not talking about surface things anymore. With dreams, it's the language of the soul. When we share a dream, we're sharing a piece of our soul, and it's beautiful to be able to see someone through that process with a technique such as the one that you invented, the dream interview method, because then you're part of it. You're helping, you're facilitating in a way, but the dream remains the dreamers, right? It belongs to them. We're not jumping in and trying to change it or push it into a certain interpretation. So I think it's lovely. There's a liveliness, there's a freedom about doing that kind of dream work. Yeah.
So let's give 3 cheers for anybody listening. Try to find yourself a non-judgmental dream partner, and you can do it anyone, any distance. I have some mothers do it with their daughters. Can you imagine that?
Yeah, I do that with my daughter. I mean, we do dream work so often. She shares her dreams pretty much every day with me, and it's gorgeous just to do a tiny weeny little bit of dream work in the mornings, or just ask 1 or 2 questions. And often we don't need to ask them; we just kind of know. Oh yeah, that's referring to this. But it's very beautiful. I think for kids as well. It grounds them to have that conversation with their dreams every single morning, every single night.
And for them not to be afraid of their monsters.
Yeah, absolutely. On all levels, the dream reflects back to us this honest mirror of how we really feel about things. So it might be that we're telling ourselves a particular story, like, oh yeah, I'm getting on really well in my new class. I'm doing really well. Everyone likes me and I like everyone else. And then the dream will come up and show us that we feel like a fish out of water in that class. And we'll think, okay, well, what can I do to change this? Because it's true that I'm swimming against the current, or these people, they're not my people yet. How can I change that? And so we can reflect more on our current situation instead of bottling it up or pretending to be somebody we're not. So I think it's very freeing, and it gives us this emotional maturity as we begin to work with our dreams as children. It's a wonderful thing. Yeah.
It's huge. For about a year, I traveled to friends' houses. I let the word be known. I'll come to your house if your children remember any dreams, and I want to know more about children's dreams, because most things written by people who don't see very troubled children
Yeah.
are made up fantasies. They aren't real dreams about real kids. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
And well, what do real kids dream about? And they dream about what we would expect, their parents' issues, and their dreams are often messages to their parents about being overburdened. Um, Kirsten dreamt of having to hold up her younger, 2 or 3 younger brother when she was about 5. She had to hold him up in a child's swimming pool so he wouldn't fall and drown. And the child in the dream, Kirsten, kept saying, "He's too heavy. He's too heavy, Mom." And Mom heard the dream. And she realized the younger boy was very physically sick. And she was overwhelmed, but she had to change. She was giving too much to the 5 or 6-year-old at the time. And another thing I want to say is kids love the dream interview because I come from another planet. So they're always right. I say, "Oh, you had a dream of a butterfly with 3 wings. They only have 2." No, it's 3 wings. And how is that? Is that normal on Earth that they have 3? I don't know, but it was especially beautiful. And the kids said, "Oh, that's right. You're from another planet, aren't you?" And so it's a fun thing to do. It's not at all dull, but I really wish I could get more people to practice with a friend and do their reading, a friend and go to workshops and go to your retreats. It's just such a great way to have a friendship.
Yeah, it really is. Well, maybe this is a good moment for you to just break down that dream interview method for people listening, just into easy steps so they've got it very clear in their heads. That would be great.
Well, it's a 6-step procedure, but I'm going to give you just 3 because you can get pretty far on 3, and I'll just tell you what the others are. The first step is description. The second is recapitulation. The third is bridge. And I make my audiences chant those 3 words because recapitulation is a big word. When I was on Oprah shows, she wanted to, she did incredible shows. She did a dream school for 5 days and then took out from that a Friday show. And on the show, I was able to listen to a dreamer in the audience. And I said, I think Maria can do this one. So this woman had only been working on dreams for 4 days.
Oh.
Said, "Oh, you had a dream about so-and-so. Who is he? Pretend I've never heard of him before." Right? That's that description phase. Asked questions from the point of view of someone from another planet. "Oh, you were playing ping pong with a baseball bat. Is that how you do it on Earth?" There are obvious questions that come to mind when you remind yourself, right? And why not? Well, that would be overwhelming. You don't need for ping pong, you don't need a baseball bat. And okay, so is there any way in your life, we're not going to do a bridge, that you're somebody is playing ping pong, which I'd heard a description of what it is, with a baseball bat, and it's overwhelming. Oh, yeah. I think I'm treating my son as an adult. He's sort of become my buddy since my divorce. And this is overwhelmed. That's not a good back and forth. Have lighter. Right. But you see how you got to that in minutes.
Yeah.
Not sometimes it takes an hour to do a dream. And as you both get better at it, the interviewer and the dreamer, it's quicker. So you ask for a good description of the dream element. That might be a person, a thing, a feeling, a setting, an action. Ping pong. Da-dum. So you ask for a good description. You get the generic first, and then you get the specific. What was the cat like? What is a cat like? And then what was the cat in your dream like? Then you put together that full description. So is there any? No, just full description. Then you do your recapitulation. This is hard when you're by yourself. Hard because it doesn't seem important. But if you're writing it out, now put that whole description into a nice few lines and make sure it's right. Do you want to modify it? And if I'm working with the dreamers, I do my recapitulation. You say, okay, modify it, correct me if I go the wrong direction or if you want to add anything. Well, Gayle, I said it was irritating, but that really doesn't cover it. It was maddeningly irritating when she heard me give her the feedback. Okay, so now I know I've got a good recapitulation. It's full, it's got the stuff. Now I say, so is there anything in your life, any part of yourself, or anyone who is blank? And I put up that recapitulation, right? I don't say things, I was wondering, I think, maybe you think about, I don't, all those words have to go because you want to be efficient with your words. So is there anything in your life that's a black sleep cat that loves you when it wants to, leaves you when it wants to, runs around in your bedroom? It's very exciting, but it leaves you in tears. Remind you of anything, but I don't have to do that again. She's got it. And you have to have the words that are the description, that are the dreamer's words, the last part of that sentence. So that's why I have this list of questions. I've got them formulated and phrased over 50 years in the ways best for the dreamers. So start with the verbatims, and then after a while, as you get used to it, go anywhere you want. Whatever's you have to get a lot of backup questions you have to make up on the spot for that image for that time. But that's a description recapitulation bridge. And then if you really want to lecture the dreamer on Jungianism or Freudianism or existentialism, have at it. But at least you'll have what the dream's about.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Gayle, for summarizing that fascinating technique. Yeah, I mean, I really see that it has so much potential, and it's great to have a powerful, fast dream work technique so that the dreamer actually understands where this is coming from. Great.
Those mirrors. Now, can you relate that to what you spend most of your time doing with your dreamers?
Oh,
How does that? You're sitting down with a dreamer, doing a consultation. Let's make it easy. One, or go to a group if you like that. And what do you do? Where do you go? Where's step 1, 2, 3, 4? And
for me personally, for me with my clients, you mean?
Yeah. How does?
Yeah, I mean, clients come to me for all sorts of different things, sometimes for lucid dreaming tips or to help them deal with recurring nightmares, or because they're just getting nowhere in their life and they want to kind of reframe their psyche, all sorts of things like that. But sometimes people do come for dream therapy. And then what I tend to do is I just listen very deeply to what they're saying. And I will tend to ask them a few clarifying questions. So, for example, one woman was sharing with me that she had a dream about something really disgusting. It was this disgusting kind of soupy mixture, and it was, for some reason, it completely revolted her. And so she was saying, "Why is there something so revolting in my dream? What's going on?" And so we went deeply into that and really, really looked at what this was. What is this stuff? And she realized by really thinking about what she hadn't wanted to think about was that, in fact, this may look disgusting, but it was kind of like the sort of creative soup that a caterpillar becomes when it's in the chrysalis. This was a space of transformation. This was a place where something changes from one form into another. And she was able to connect her own psycho-spiritual development with this whole process of dissolving and becoming something really amorphous and incomprehensible, but realizing that out of that, this amazing butterfly would be born. So it became, for her, just a really transformative dream image that previously she pushed away because it was revolting. So that goes to show that sometimes there are all these discoveries that come up with just one dream image. It can really help a person to understand where they are in their own development and unfolding.
Would it be fair to say that your curiosity and you're helping her focus? Some people say hold the space. I like to think you have her focus on that very thing that she's puzzled about. She had her curiosity. I think that's one reason that dreams are more powerful than mother telling you what to do, because they do a puzzle. It's the best I can do, suggesting it's a useful reason for dreams, not just giving it to me straight, but the dreams say, here's a puzzle. Be fascinated. And then you help her stay right with the issue she wanted to move away from and look at it. And she knew you were curious. And totally non-judgmental way. And she could then be curious about it. It was contagion of curiosity. And I think that's just underplayed in dream work.
Yeah.
We're not looking up into a book to say, oh, yeah, this means that.
I wanted to ask you, Gayle, what your view is on dream dictionaries, but I think I may already kind of know the answer. What do you think about them?
Wrote one.
Wow.
Yeah. It's called In Your Dreams.
I
And I hate that title. I wanted it to be the new dream dictionary because I have taken on all the publishers. I've taken on all the book owners in big bookstores saying, why do you have these dream dictionaries on the shelves? It's superstition from the Middle Ages. It's really terrible. Or it's so vague. The more modern ones who want to make money but don't want to admit it. So they give you a dream dictionary that says something like, well, what does that dream mean to you? Or a horse in a dream. Does that mean it could mean any of these 5 things or maybe something else? But it's way vague and nowhere for a dreamer to get it. And it doesn't look at the images within the context. Okay, so I wrote a dream. I thought it would be a beginner's book, but it's mostly the professional's book. They keep this by their seat. And, oh, you had a dream about a mafia man. They look up in the book and say, mafia man, it's right here. Or it's not a volume this big, but that people in dreams, types in dreams. And she found the mafia man. And what it does is it gives interpretations that Freud, Jung, and others have made on mafia. The variety of such dreams. How could one be the same as the other? Okay, then Freud and Jung, and then maybe other people. And then I say, well, here's what 2 of my dreamers did with it. And I demonstrate the interview method. Who are the mafia? What are they like? This is my butt. He got this. Someone else had a mafia dream. What do you know? And it got something completely different, but my questions were still the same.
Right.
And then the last section, these are all short sections. And what does your mafia man mean in your dream? And here are the questions to ask yourself about them people. Mafia and fill in mafia man. So that you got me right. And they just didn't market it that way. It was In Your Dreams, a new kind of dream dictionary. So it wasn't quite the POW. I wanted it to be a bait and switch.
Yeah.
And I tell people right in the first few paragraphs, you'd be really wasting your money if this were really a dream dictionary.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's like that with books, though, isn't it? When you hand over your book to a publisher and they get to make the decisions about the copy and the title, and you try and have your say, but it doesn't always work because they know best. So
I got one title that I could name it, my book. And it was not my first book, the later book, Sexual Dreams.
oh,
That's it. I said, yeah, I want people to know this book is about sexual dreams. And so it got a lot of translations. It did fine on the international market. American market, they said the women are getting embarrassed. They might buy a book, Barnes and Noble, and they have those translucent but sort of milky covers, and you could see sexual. And I said, no, this is 1980, 90, this year 2000, somewhere around there.
yeah.
I said, yeah, so we've given you a new title for the paperback. And the title was Sensual Dreaming.
Right.
What erotic content means in your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
But sensual dreaming, part of the trouble with so many dreamers and dream therapists is they don't think clearly. And they leave things vague. And isn't that wonderful? And all that. I want to know what it's about. And dreams do have a message. They are about a particular thing. And through the various later years in your life, you might find they're about several dimensions of that thing. But they do have a particular message. And not, oh, it could mean anything. I'd like it to mean that. Or if it were my dream people all giving different interpretations, heaven help us. It's just not how you think clearly. So that's what I do with my work. And the dream dictionary is very useful for teaching the method quickly.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to get into any long dreams. And so that I have, breakthrough dreaming.
Right. Okay. Yes. Yeah, that's true. I mean, so many books. How many have you written now? 8 or
7 or 8.
7 or 8? Yeah. And so with sexual dreams, you wrote that at a time when it was quite a taboo subject. I mean, what inspired you? What made you want to write that particular book?
Because the content dream analysis people at Stanford and such were saying, well, you have women's dreams are different from men's dreams. Women dream of being indoors more often than men, and men dream. That's not interpreting at all. That's just counting. And they don't see, they never dream about sex. So they don't know about the dream where Jane was stirring around a series of very nice sausages. And she felt very erotic about them all. And she was, moving into her sexual life and trying to manage it. Or I got a dream where someone gave me the keys to my Bugatti Jaguar. It was a perfect combination of those two cars. And it's yours. And no, I don't know. It's wonderful, but I don't have a car like that. We went back and forth several times in the dream. No, I really don't have that sort of car. I'd love it, but here, Gayle, it's yours. So I take the keys the minute they're in my hand. I walk on down to this windy road down from my house in the mountain next to San Francisco. And the car was beautiful. It was just Italian Rococo almost, with also the sleekness of a Jaguar and a wonderful engine. So I get in and I realized I didn't know where the brakes were. So I had the door open. I was using my foot on a downhill. But there's got to be a way. They've got to have brakes in this car, and there's got to be a way to work it out, or I'm going to be in trouble. And I woke up from the dream, and I had just gotten divorced. That's what it was. So I was already 40, and I just couldn't wait to get to the candy store of sexuality and find out who men are now and what are they like. But content analysis people would never have seen that car as something about sex.
Right. That's true. Mm-hmm.
So I'm working on an app so that universities can do dream research where the dreamer on her own does her interview. And then they can do what they want with the material. But they won't be able to say anymore, this wasn't about sex.
Right. That's perfect. That sounds like such a great idea. People would love doing that with an app.
I think so, yeah. And I'm working day and night.
Wow. So many amazing ideas. You've got so much, so much creativity in you. And you're such a pioneer in the field of dream studies. It's wonderful.
So thank you. And I would like to know what it would be like to go to one of your workshops, your Portuguese workshop. Oh, and the beach. I'd loved it because the faces, I devoured your wonderful website. And if I'm asking Claire on bended knee, can I have the person who put together the website do my new one? And the people were vibrant and alive, and you knew they weren't stock photos. I mean, where they are, but these people were the people who came. I hate stock photos.
Yes.
And but the others aren't as high quality. I don't care about that. I want the look in people's eyes to be there.
Yeah.
What would it be like for someone like me to come to one of your workshops? Because I know you can have beginners. I've been lucid dreaming all, since I started, but not as much as I would like to.
Oh, yes. Well, on the retreats, it really doesn't matter whether someone has had 1,000 lucid dreams or hasn't had a lucid dream before. So anyone and everybody is welcome. And what I often find is almost like this magical constellation of people who show up. It's just all perfect. So it's not about who's done what and how many books someone has written on the subject, or how somebody only just heard about the retreat 4 weeks ago, or, it doesn't even matter, because it's like they're drawn together by this invisible thread from all these different countries. And we come together and we celebrate dreams. We celebrate lucid living as well. So being alive and present in this moment right now. And we have a whole lot of fun together, and we do workshops on topics from lucid dream healing to conscious dying. We also look at how thoughts manifest in the world. So to keep a lucid engagement with the kind of thoughts that we think, because that's part of what creates our life. And yeah, we do dream work together every morning. We have a dream circle, and they go off into pairs or groups and share dreams together. And that's when you feel the energy rising, because they start to get to know each other on that deep soul level, as we said earlier. So it's fantastic. I mean, I love those retreats. They're really beautiful. Yeah. You're listening to Sleep and Deep Lucid Dreaming podcast with Dr. Clare Johnson. If you love audiobooks, look for my brand new audiobook, Elixir of Sleep. It's narrated by me and available on all platforms. There are also audiobooks for The Art of Lucid Dreaming, The Complete Book of Lucid Dreaming, Dream Therapy, and The Art of Transforming Nightmares. Visit deepluciddreaming.com. And it's lovely, to see your zest for life and all the enthusiasm and joy and commitment that you bring to sharing dream work techniques with the world. And I know that it's been just such a passion for you your entire life. And I think it's just wonderful, everything that you've achieved and how many people you've helped with your pioneering methods. And just reminding people as well to be alive with the dream work, not see the dream as something dead and gone and finished, but something that we can work and play with to receive these incredible insights.
I almost left this career once.
Really?
Turned 31, and for the first time in my life, I cried at a birthday.
Oh,
because I had done my schooling, and I had the book just out, but I still couldn't earn a living.
yeah.
There was no market. There was no market. So in my dream, I go up to the honorable Supreme Court judges. I say, look, I really need to find a career where I'm going to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
And they turned to me so kindly and they said, Gayle, if you do that, who's going to do what you need to do? Who's going to do this dream work? They're not going to do it like this. It's just not the normal thing. And so they gave me a little ticket. And I think it was for what I was charging for my dream groups at the time. And I said, it's enough for you. Be okay. That was, and I thought it's true. I got to do what I've
Got to do. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's it. And that's what I love as well about dreams, is that they constantly show us that we are on the right path, and they remind us, and sometimes they even force us to continue on a particular path. Even if we're saying, no, that's enough, for whatever reason, I want to change, they will put us back on the straight and narrow and say, this is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what's happening next. I mean, I've had dreams where I've just been shown, this is what you're doing next. You're going to write this book now. Like with Elixir of Sleep, that came to me in a dream download. I saw the table of contents in a dream, like an illuminated manuscript. And I didn't want to write another book. I was determined I wasn't going to write another book. And then this download happened, and my head was buzzing and I couldn't get back to sleep. And I said, okay, I'll write it down, but I'm not going to be writing this book. I'll just jot it down so I can sleep again. And then I woke up the next day and I had an email from my new editor, who I hadn't connected with properly yet. My old one, after 10 years, had gone somewhere else. And she said, Claire, if you have a book, I would love to publish another book by you. All you need to do is send me the table of contents. And I looked down and there was this table of contents. And I was like, oh no. I didn't, I really wanted to do other things. I was like, I've written enough books. But there we go. I wrote the book, and my 8th book, and it's coming out in January. So that's how my dreams talk to me about what I'm supposed to be doing in my life. They can be very firm. They're just like, this is happening. So yeah.
People in your social world in Stuttgart, in the area around there, do they believe this? Do you get to talk to them? Are they curious?
Yeah, I mean, German people generally are very interested in lucid dreaming. Absolutely. I mean, I think everywhere it's really becoming a topic that's booming. Although I still do meet people who have just no idea what a lucid dream is. But the interesting thing is, then once you explain it, it's when you realize that you're dreaming while you're dreaming, and they say, "Oh, yeah, I used to do that when I was a kid, but I didn't know there was a name for it." So it's like that many more people actually have had lucid dreams than they may actually realize. So, and I think people are interested in consciousness expansion and what can we do in those hours where we sleep, or that third of our life. I mean, it's not dead time. There's all sorts of stuff going on. There's all sorts of amazing, magical happenings, and we can really engage with that. And it can help us to explore that consciousness, to explore our own potential, and understand also the nature of reality. I mean, in some dreams that go deeper than sort of dream imagery or dream plots, we can experience this light, this dissolution into light and oneness. We can have these incredible experiences, spiritual experiences that teach us about what might happen when we die, or the nature of time and space and reality. And I think it's just fantastic and endlessly interesting what we can learn from all of these different states of awareness that we go through when we sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we're on a mission. All
I
of
think
us.
we are. Yes, we are indeed. Oh, well, thank you so much, Gail. And I mean, just to sum up, or just to finish off, what would you say to someone who wants to explore their dreams but doesn't know where to start?
Well, first thing I would say, don't worry that all your dreams are psychic. Many people think that, so they're terrified of their dreams if someone dies. Don't worry if you don't remember any lucid dreams right now, because you how many dreams if you remembered in a whole lifetime? Not very many. So that'll come. So people can close themselves off right away. Then I would suggest that you start very simply by keeping a dream journal. And just see, Walt Whitman said, I always travel with my dream journal because I want to have something wonderful to read. Because these dreams that seem fragmented, or you little of this or a little bit of that, and it's not quite clear. When you read them later, as you're sitting on a plane going somewhere, that was really pretty involved. That was pretty interesting. I wonder what that meant. Let yourself get curious and then start reading what you like. And if somebody starts telling you what your dream means, ask yourself, how could that person know? I just had a dream about Maria from 8th grade, and she's telling me what Maria means. I could have dreamt from anybody from 8th grade or from anywhere in my life. I chose an 8th grader I haven't seen since then, and it was Maria. I dreamt about a president. Is that a father image? Which president did you dream about? And what's he like? And I've never heard of him before, right?
Mm.
And so be discerning in whom you work with. And one of the problems with many uh, dream workers, therapists, is they are overwhelmingly interested in showing you what they've learned and what they know. And they want to show you that they have wisdom. And they're trying to help you, but they don't understand. You don't know who Maria was first, 8th grade. How can you do that? So be wary and then go with whom you like. You won't get hurt. It's a playground, and you'll eventually land where you'll be happy and growing and saying to your friends, hey, have you remembered any dreams lately? How would you like my dream partner?
Wonderful. Oh, thank you, Gail. That's absolutely great advice for everybody. And many thanks again for coming on my podcast and sharing your wisdom. It's wonderful. And yeah, I hope to have many more conversations with you in the future, because it's great fun just to get to know you as well, and to hear all that you've done in your life so far and that you continue to do is just an absolute inspiration. So thank you.
Thank you for your kindness, and you're welcome, and for having written your books. So I get to know you in more detail. And
Mm.
ASD has accomplished the goal. I met you, I went and read your books.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Gayle Delaney, and goodbye for now. Thank you.
Bye.
Welcome to Sleep and Deep Lucid Dreaming, the podcast that explores your inner universe and invites you to fall in love with sleep. I'm Dr. Clare Johnson, and I'm here to help you tap into your own genius and discover the mysteries of sleep and lucid dreams. As a warm welcome to my podcast, you can instantly download 2 free audio classes, one on how to lucid dream and the other on tips for deep sleep. Imagine for just a moment the next 10 years of your life stretching out in front of you in all their glorious potential. And now consider the fact that you're going to spend over 3 of those years asleep. We all spend a third of our lives asleep, but often people barely give a thought as to the many treasures sleep offers, like lucid dreaming, where you become consciously aware during a dream, or natural healing and enhanced memory. Sleep harbors the genius of your unconscious intelligence, which helps with creativity and problem solving. And once you get into deep lucid dreaming, you may even receive enlightening insights into the nature of time, space, and reality. These are just some of the gifts sleep brings. So why not discover more about sleep and all of the shifting states of consciousness it encompasses? This podcast seems like the best way of giving you short bursts of sleeping and dreaming consciousness, thought-provoking glimpses into your inner universe to remind you that there's more to you than meets the eye, more to you than your waking self. You're so much greater than that. And this is one of the things that sleep teaches us. You have enormous untapped potential. Sleep and dreams hold the key to your potential, bringing you immense benefits and greater success in your waking life too. This podcast will help you raise your lucid awareness in all states of consciousness and inspire you to engage with the fantastic depths of your inner life. Because so many of us sleepwalk through our lives. We miss the magic that's present in every moment because we're too distracted or too stressed to notice it. But when we engage with our dreaming mind and embrace the gifts of sleep, we awaken to the bigger picture of life. We become aware of the dreamlike nature of life itself, and we understand how best we can navigate this collective waking lucid dream, the lucid dream of life. This podcast aims to answer your burning questions about lucid dreaming, sleep, and consciousness. You'll receive tips, techniques, and rituals you can instantly apply that same night to open up your inner universe. My passion for lucid dreaming began when I was just 3 years old. And for decades, my professional life has revolved around helping others to discover the marvelous world of sleep and lucid dreams. To give you a bit of background, I was the first person in the world to do a PhD on lucid dreaming as a creative tool. I've written 8 books, including The Art of Lucid Dreaming, Elixir of Sleep, that's my latest book, and The Art of Transforming Nightmares, as well as the massive and groundbreaking complete book of lucid dreaming. I'm a former president and CEO of the International Association for the Study of Dreams, and I'm the creator of Deep Lucid Dreaming video courses with guided meditation for blissful sleep and lucid adventures. I lead beautiful in-person retreats, lucid dream retreats by the ocean, and on my website, deepluciddreaming.com, you can receive various dream gifts, including lucid dream meditations and a couple of free guidebooks. In this podcast, we'll explore portals into lucid dreaming, restful sleep, super creative dreams, hypnagogic states, and out-of-body experiences. You'll gain insights into the nature of consciousness and discover how to access the creative genius of your dreaming mind. You'll start to welcome sleep every night as a healing elixir for body, mind, and spirit, and wake up refreshed and joyful. You might even learn how to make your wildest dreams come true. But we will look at the tough stuff too, such as scary sleep paralysis, where you feel like you're trapped and can't move your body, anxiety dreams, insomnia, and nightmares. I'll share my best techniques for releasing fear and guiding dreams into healing experiences. And when I was a kid, I had recurring lucid nightmares, episodes of sleepwalking, sleep paralysis. There was nobody to help me understand what was happening. I had to figure out for myself how to overcome fear and navigate the thought responsive dream reality. That early baptism of fire actually helped me to develop many original techniques to help others. So I have lots of practical advice for those of you who would like tips on how to handle scary sleep experiences, as well as tips on how to have amazing lucid dreams. I will release one episode per week, and once a month, I'll release a conversation with amazing dreamers and authors so that we can hear their stories and perspectives. And as you listen, you'll discover who you are when you sleep and dream. You'll explore the frontiers of your own consciousness, and this life of yours will become richer and happier. After all, why not expand your existence by waking up to the power of sleep and dreams? Why not tap into your inner genius? It's right there, waiting for you every night when you fall asleep. After a lifetime of personal lucid dreaming and sleep exploration, I've reached the conclusion that sleep is key to the evolution of human consciousness. When we engage with the shifting states of awareness within sleep, we can find answers to all of the big questions of existence. At any given time of the day or night, there are millions of humans dreaming. It seems to me that we continuously dream our world into being. Our genius dream intelligence enables us to process the past, solve problems, and imagine the future. While we sleep, others are world building in waking physical reality. And when they fall asleep, we take over. And so the collective dream of life continues. The world invents itself afresh in an endless stream of creative acts. This is spectacular. As you can probably tell, I'm already madly in love with sleep and deep lucid dreaming and the wondrous states of consciousness we encounter when we close our eyes at night. And my hope is that as you listen to my show, you'll fall in love with sleep as well, and that this will expand your consciousness and increase your happiness and improve your life on all levels of being. So I invite you to engage with me by subscribing to my podcast on your favorite platform and writing a quick review if you have a spare moment. That would be very kind. And you're welcome, perhaps at the end of your review comment, to suggest a topic you'd like me to explore or a question you'd like me to answer, so I can look out for those and we can co-create this as we go along. Stay tuned and I'll help you to take your sleep and your lucid dreaming to the next level. Thank you very much for listening, and I wish you deep, lucid dreams.